Today, it is said that spirituality is autobiographical in nature. Take a minute to just think about that, because it's so very true, right? The culture you come from, the family system you come from, your own personal experiences of goodness and badness are all going to be part of your spirituality. And we're going to hear from a few of our own about what it has meant to be a part of this tradition in this church, in this denomination. What it has been to be you, and if we only have a few voices come up, I'll actually open it up to people to join in and just make brief statements. We'll see how much time that elapses. But we have a few ringers planned to come up and speak. So we're going to ask ourselves, it's really just a chance to brag. It's an orchestrated brag session for our not so humble but small movement. So that's what's headed your way. And Rita's going to light our chalice while I read our chalice words. You can join in with me if you want. It's Max Kutz's words. Join with me if you will. There is something pagan in the way I feel. It's almost as if I can believe as ancient people did. The long in March or April, winter fought with summer for the earth, and finally compromised for the spring. So I know the groundhog gave us bad news a few days ago, but I thought I'd inspire us with some spring stories. Please stand with your masks on if you're willing and able. Stand in spirit, if not in body, and sing 288, all our architects. 288, all the verses. Okay, please be seated. I would want to invite all those involved in our child dedication to come forward. We're also not going to sing out our children. The children are going to stay in our service today. So Barbara and Sloan and Mandy and Brian, come on down. For those congregation, you might want to pull out these little sheets here. You're going to be called on to those in a minute. All right, come on over here. Welcome. All right. We need that microphone to come grab the microphone. Okay. So, Forest Church, who's a leading member of our denomination, introduced the dedication of children by inviting us to imagine that like Sloan was not too long ago, we're living in a world, I want you to imagine this with us all. Imagine you're living in a world constituted almost entirely by warmth and darkness. Food and shelter are free when you're an infant still inside. Life demands nothing of you, yet daily you grow, you develop, you change. As you grow, your world slightly becomes smaller and more constrictive. You don't remember that, do you? Yeah. Finally, you're far too big for your world. It will no longer contain you when this time comes, not so much as an act of will, but by necessity. You break free, you broke free. Entering a dark tunnel and moving towards the light. In this most profound moment imaginable, you enter a new world and your life changes forever. Within minutes, your world brightens, but also dryness and hunger are immediately introduced in a way they weren't before. As for the world you enter, in quick measure you both subtract from it and add to its quotient of suffering and war. Wherever you were born, manger, jungle, hospital, this part of the story barely differs from one birth to another, out of darkness and into the light, out of the womb and into the world and all its wildness. In almost every sense, a human birth is a wild thing. You enter the world untamed. The world we enter is filled with joy and unpredictability, and the odds against us being born in the first place are so crazy that, save in retrospect, no thinking person in eon, millennium, or even a century ago would risk the untold 1,000,000,000 to 1 odds against every human being who turned out to be who they are, who turned out to be you, born in the first place. It's a miracle. And at the end of Forest Church's peace. So today we celebrate that miracle and the good fortune of another miraculous human being being connected to this church community. and the world, and we dedicate Sloan Blue Maloney. I invite you all to just be here and enjoy this moment. So behold this child, she comes forth with a little bit of stardust in her veins. We're made of that stuff, as Trek will tell us all the time. And hands to shape the world that will be. This little creature, just like all of us, we are. Parents, of course, are a product of the universe. We're a product of the universe. And they make you clean the room and go, hey, product of the universe. So this moment is about Sloan and her parents and extended family, but today it's also a celebration of the miracle of life in general. When a new baby comes to us, all birth is life. We sort of all rejoice and we all smile, don't we? Sloan reminds his father and mother that, Sloan reminds his parents that, pardon the cliche, that life is a gift, and this little girl is a link in blood to a new family and a new grouping that comes together, like so many other families have, right? A merger of different traditions, and beyond that, a line of ancestors that extend back further than any of us would know. So I invite you all to join with us and be here in this moment. So, Mandy Lou and Chiron, you come here today to dedicate your child, to name her before this assembled gathering in this house, dedicated to spirit, and to bless her in the long tradition of bris and baptisms and blessings of all kinds that greet and celebrate new members of the human family. In doing so, we in this church ask that you actively commit yourselves to healthy ways of parenting her, which I know you do, and to dedicate her to the principles of inquiry and openness and love. If you do that, please say we will. Okay. All right. You do so with the charge from this church that you will prepare your child to be a good citizen of planet Earth, a child who will grow in awareness of the world as it is, but also holds fast to how it ought to be. Your charge from this church is that you maintain an awareness of the power of love to redeem the world and our hearts, and be aware that life demands courage as well as affection. Yeah. You agree to that as parents of this young child. Okay. All right, Barbara, you of course are an additional guide to this child on her journey, and you are called to be a friend and a mentor and a supportive companion to Sloan's lifelong search for truth and meaning. If you accept that role, please say, I do. I do. With you now is a grandmother of this precious little child, pledged to nurture the sweetest member of your family to live according to the values we hold in this church, that of freedom, tolerance, compassion, and service, always honoring her individuality. There we go. We pledge to nurture Sloan as she grows in spirit as well as in body. May this beautiful child remain attentive to the call to love our neighbors as well as himself, to be an enlightened, wise, compassionate heart. May this sweet little girl, always amidst the noise of our modern lives, honor her spiritual nature and seek after truth with an open mind and a loving heart. May she look to see the good in all humans. You've been charged with a great responsibility through the leaders of this child. May you and this child prove to be a blessing to one another as we walk. Okay, would you say for the gathered body here her official name? Sloan Blue Maloney. It's a good standard to live up to. And now all of us with our little providential sheets here, please join me. By the service of dedication, we commit ourselves to the care of this child. Is any of them are young people? If they want to come forward too, they can help bless with that if they want to. Come on. All right, come on. By the service of this dedication, we commit ourselves to the care of this child. Are you ready to dedicate yourselves to Sloan, everyone?
We are here. Dedicating our minds and our hearts by surrounding our parents.
Will you strive to love her in times of struggle as well as gladness?
Will you love and cherish her always?
Will you acknowledge the divine spark in this child? Let me say hello.
of peace.
Amen. It's a tradition in new congregations that the child dedication ceremony is given a rose with no thorns. A thornless rose both represents the beauty of life and the promise of the congregation to protect this child from harm. This is an effort, and when we deal with the teens, when they come of age, we hand them a rose with thorns as a symbol of their readiness to accept life's challenges, danger, and pain, as well as its joy. So, enough words. We have water here. I'm going to dip the rose in water, and then drop it on her head, and we'll see how she responds to that. You are blessed. How's that? So there's a thornless rose there. Water rejuvenates. Water has been used as a purity symbol amongst all faiths. It brings life. It dulls the rough edges of things, and it teaches us. It may be a cultural instinct to see water as washing away some sin. In this case, you don't see it that way. We see babies as a great reminder of where we come from and the gift that life is, and its great connection to water. We pray this child might bear her name with dignity. Join me in this moment of just solemnity. That she may be cradled in affection and tutored in wisdom. That she may make for herself a special place among those who are dedicated to the transformation of the world into a community of peace and reverence. And may this occasion work its own little miracle in our own hearts, as well that we might mold our lives in more accordance with the truth and beauty and goodness we look for all children. Amen to all that. Thank you for being here. I get your little book. Dr. Seuss's Go Baby, as if you were. How about a hand around the class?
They also found God in the power of prayer and those words. It was an honor to present myself and my feelings and my religion to the immense diversity of people and religions that were there. 17,000 kids and parents and leaders is what I was the chaplain to at that point. Huge. Well, now I'm back in the river, as I have left and returned back to this very church so many times. And each and every time, no matter how many or how little the congregation may be, I have always returned back with been welcomed with warm and loving arms. This is my church family. This is home, where I am safe, my spirit is safe, and people are kind no matter where they may have come from. I tried to raise my two sons in this church, but of course, their individual lives took them in different directions as they got older, and they never felt mandated to have to stay, no pressure. BJ signed the book with the coming of age group, and Adam signed before he left for the Army. He wanted to feel safe. Which is good. The affirmation of faith is embedded in my life as a motto, as a mantra. The way God wanted me to live my best life and be the best person I knew how to be. But I just had to Google it. I had to Google the definition of Unitarian Universalist beliefs. And I liked the simplicity of what it said. And I quote, Unitarian Universalists believe in the golden rule, loving our neighbors as ourselves, working for a better world, searching for truth with an open mind, using reason to help us explore religious ideas, and granting everyone the right to choose their own beliefs. This is why I love being a Unitarian Universalist in that big white church with the clock in the center of the river. welcome home.
Yeah. No time for editing, Gene, you're up. Put the commas in later.
Good morning. My name is Jean Reverend, and I'm a longtime member of the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church. There have been many changes in this congregation. But my feelings of love for the people here and gratitude of being a part of this community have continued to be there. I came to the church in 2001 as a single parent with my then teenage daughter, and a vague concept of what Unitarian Universal is, seeking fellowship, spiritual community, and an active youth group. I found many wonderful, kind, and caring people here. I got to know many of you through involvement in committees, activities, fundraisers, and have forged deep and enduring connections with many individuals and with other Unitarian Universalists. In 2003, I made the commitment to formally become a member of this congregation and sign a membership book. So this year is my 20-year membership anniversary. Engagement with other members committed to social justice was something that quickly made me feel connected to this congregation. It is a sacred and spiritual connectedness and still endures. In 2002, I stood in our town hall members actively committed to peace, protecting the impending U.S. invasion of Iraq. And for the next 10 years, the Social Justice Committee held volunteer drive to support the Unitarian Universal Service Committee program to help Iraqi civilians who are injured in the war. Since then, there have been many more social justice events and commitments, and the pride, joy, and honor of being a member of this congregation still endures. I was a youth advisor and co-leader of the high school youth group for about 5 years, and really enjoyed the privilege of getting to know some of the amazing young members of the congregation, spending time with them in classes, field trips, youth cons. These were wonderful, affirming, and incredible experiences that I will always be personally thankful for. My appreciation for our congregation's meaningful engagement with and support of our youth still endures. And Sharon was a member of the youth group, and I'm just so amazed and appreciative to be able to witness him bringing his child to the baby dedication. The personal spiritual faith journey is deeply entwined with respect and reverence for nature and the need for environmental stewardship. As a member of First Parish, I've been able to bring action to my faith by organizing a community forum on a proposed power plant and by co-leading a special intergenerational services honoring responsibility, which was followed by an educational workshop and interfaith river lesson ceremony. Such an opportunity to bring something into being and to share what one is passionate about has been a seminal reason for being a member of a new congregation. And yes, this still endures. More recently, I have had the honor of representing First Parish and our Philadelphia Interfaith Association. And it's a wonderful and deeply spiritual opportunity, way to show the youth faith, to represent the youth faith in our life community. When I first came here, which I was a newbie to this religion and to this congregation, it seemed that there were lots of folks who have been here for a long time. Over the years, I found out I had become a fabric of this, part of the fabric of this community. Many of those people and others are no longer here, and I miss them. And there are some folks who moved away, but are still connected to our church. There's no Facebook page or a church newsletter and prayer list. Sometimes it's heartwarming, but sometimes a bit sad when I see posts by these folks that used to belong to our church, the youth church, and see in the first and sometimes the only comments or likes are by the current members of our congregation. The deep connections that we may endure. And then there are members who have passed on. Smiles, laughs, caring, kindness, humor, works for those who gave so much life and so much love for this place. Those spirits still fill this place for those who, like me, remember them here. And there are spouses and family of members who may not have attended church, but whose loss is shared and remembered in all our hearts. Memories endure. And one of the things I love most about this congregation and being you is how much members have supported and surrounded each other in times of loss and sorrow. Personally for me, I have been supported and held up and in the deaths of a dear family, friend, my brother, and recently my mom. And that is something so special that as a family church, a new church, we do for each other. And then there are folks that are not here, still around and living in the town, but just don't come anymore. Long-time members who just leave, some are elderly and just can't physically continue, but some just choose not to, and I miss them all too, and the missing them. Memories and thoughts of all these folks are part of what it means for me to be a member of Local Presbyterian. We're a small, family-sized church, and our family memories and dynamics and all that entails are a big part of what it means for me to be a member of this church. And I am grateful for the folks I know here and that share these memories. And I am grateful for the longtime members that are still here and that I have been lucky enough to be able to get to know, to learn from, to learn about, to laugh with, to cry with, and care about, to share with, to grow with, and just to be there. The love that endures. And I am grateful for the folks who come, who have not been here for a long time, for the new folks, young and old, and everyone in between, for those who are seeking something, and those who stay to see what is here, who is here, and to find out if this is a place for them to be. A place to explore and experience your own spiritual journey. A place to love one another with caring and supportive members who find strength in each other and in the commitment of sharing our liberal religious faith. Is this a community of people you might like to get to know? Where you would like to be known? A community of people to share with, to love with, and to enjoy being with, to form friendships that endure? This community is always changing. It has for hundreds of years, sometimes too slowly, sometimes too quickly. Change is the nature of life, but this community, through all its changes, endures. And as a member of this congregation, this beloved community, my love and gratitude here also endures.
Been standing for a long time, and I just think we honor that process of gathering and the very human instinct of being together and honor. But it's now time for our offertory, and if you're getting used to me at all, it usually involves a silly story. So there was an atheist walking through the woods, admiring all that the forces of evolution had almost magically seemed to create. What majestic trees, what powerful rivers, what beautiful animals abound in the forest, she said to herself. As she was walking along the side of the river, she saw a rustling in the bushes right behind her. She turned to look, she saw a 7-foot grizzly charging towards her, and she ran as fast as she could up the path, the grizzly chasing her. Looked over her shoulder and saw the bear was closing in on her. She looked over her shoulder again and saw the bear was just about there. Her heart was pumping, her feet were pumping. She tried to run as fast as she could, fearful for her life, but she tripped. She fell on the ground. She rolled over quickly to pick herself up, but the bear was right on top of her, reaching for her with her big left paw and raising her big, just ready to strike. At that instant, she cried out, oh my God, and remarkably time stopped. The bear froze. The forest was silent. A bright light shone upon the woman in a kind of magical way, and a voice came out of the sky. You deny my existence for all these years and credit creation as a cosmic accident. Do you expect me to help you out of this predicament? Am I to count you now as a believer? The atheist looked up into the light. It would be hypocritical for me to suddenly ask you to treat me as a faithful believer now, she said, but perhaps, God, could you at least make the bear more faithful? Very well, the voice said. The brilliant light remarkably quieted and the forests resumed as normal. The big mother bear on top of our protagonist dropped her right paw, brought the paws together, bowed her head and said, Lord, for the food I am about to receive. And in that same spirit, we are grateful as a community for what you will share, as the hiker was about to. Please join me in our doxology. We extinguish our chalice, or we will extinguish our chalice with these words. Please join me in that. We extinguish this flame, but will not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our closing hymn is number 121, and we're going to sing the first, second, and fourth verses. Skip the third, and we generally face the outside world that we are about to enter with our inspired souls. 121, we'll build a land, first, second, and fourth verse. And Tyndall compels us to sing our own song. The cardinal and the chickadee May we disintegrate into laughter. May our soul stream merge into the great ocean of love and of life. May we walk out of here with the blessing of a new child and the hopes and dreams that all our parents. Go with us.